Mixed reaction have continued to trade the 2018 budget proposal of 8.6 trillion naira presented by President Muhammadu Buhari before the joint section of the National Assembly. The national chairman of the ruling All Progressive Congress, John Oyegun, appealed to Nigerians for more time to reap the benefit of Buhari-led administration.
Let me put it this way. We are rebuilding. I want to emphasize that. We are rebuilding a nation. We are rebuilding an economy. The economy collapsed. Oil price collapsed. And so everything is as if it is starting de novo, afresh. It takes time. It creates a lot of hardship. And we keep appealing to Nigerians that at the end of the day, you are going to have a country you'll be proud of. An economy that will offer you opportunities to grow, offer your children hope. That is what we, but temporarily, whilst we are going through this great team period, yes, it's unfortunate.
APC National Chairman also said that the presentation of 2018 budget estimate by President Buhari has shown that the president is fully in control of power.
Talked about the present projected into the future, and it was well received. We were all very happy. And the side attraction about it is that the president has demonstrated finally, convincingly, that he has staying power and he is back.
In his reaction, Senator Olubinga Ashafa, representing Lagos East, said the National Assembly will be on the same page with the executive arm of government to ensure timely passage of the budget.
We are going to work as the National Assembly as promised by our leaders to be on the same page with the president. However, even if the budget is passed as soon as possible, with as soon as possible, my sense is saying maybe in another 6 weeks or maximum 2 months, kickstart the budget 2018 February. What about the implementation side of it? That is the main problem. We can have a budget as big as we like, but when it comes to funding, at the end of the day, the totality of that budget becomes useless to the people that we are supposed to deliver service to.
Senator Ashafa also advised the executive to ensure that 80% implementation of the budget by making adequate provision for funds.
So my advice as far as 2018 budget is concerned is that after all said and done, and the approvals have been secured from the National Assembly, and the President signs it into, the appropriation 2018 signs it into law, then we'll be asking the executive to at least ensure that 80% performance in terms of releases of funds comes through at the end of 2018. To that effect, I believe that the relationship of the National Assembly and the executive will be better.
Senator Kabiru Marafra from Zamfara said it was a budget of hope and a realistic one, assuring that the legislature will be keen on oversight to check the implementation of the budget.
The two chambers have agreed, to work tirelessly to see that the budget is passed by January, whatever, maybe 1st January, 18th January, 31st, or whatever. But like I said, these things are going to be transparent, they are going to be open, everybody would see what the legislators are doing, the various committees that will handle the budgets and everything. So if it is realistic or if it is doable, we are going to do it. If it is not, people will see and the legislator will lay bare, whatever the problems are. So I don't think this is not a sacrosanct thing. It is not a law that says that you must pass budget from so-so date to so-so date.
President Muhammadu Buhari had presented to a joint section of the National Assembly the 2018 budget proposal to the tune of 8.6 trillion naira, with an increase of 16% above the 2017 budget. From Abuja, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting.
The federal government, through its Industrial Policy and Competitiveness Advisory Council, says it has identified and agreed to implement initiatives across 5 core areas and enablers over the next 12 months. Some of the initiatives agreed for implementation include the installation of 18,000 km of fiber optic to improve broadband penetration, as well as strategic power products totaling 4.2 gigawatts of electricity. Okechukwu Enelama, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, said this at a press conference in Abuja. Enolama further said the council, in its meeting of Monday 30 October, and chaired by the Vice President Professor Yemi Osibajo, also agreed to implement an apprenticeship program to bridge the gap between industry skills requirement and supply from educational institutions, accelerate the implementation of the Nigerian Trade Remedy, economic safeguard and anti-dumping mechanism, among others.
I'm happy to report today that the council now has 5 subcommittees made up of both public and private sector leaders and members of the council. We have identified 5 focus areas required to fulfill the council's objectives, and these focus areas are the following. Number 1, critical infrastructure. 2, skills and capacity building. 3, trade and market access. 4, policy and regulation. And finally, and equally importantly, financing. The Industrial Council discussed and agreed on several initiatives and their necessary enablers across these 5 focus areas that I talked about earlier. The Council agreed on several initiatives which will be implemented over the next 12 months. What I would like to do is to share with you some of the examples of the initiatives that the Council agreed on. For instance, the Council agreed it would be great to have the installation of an additional at least 18,000 kilometers of fiber across the country to improve broadband penetration as part of supporting digital economy and the whole area of technology. The Council also agreed that on implementation of select strategic power projects to deliver additional 4.2 gigawatts of power, or 4,200 megawatts of power. The Council also agreed that it would be great to commence implementation of the recently approved Road Trust Fund, which I'm sure some of us know about, the Road Trust Fund scheme, especially as it relates to accelerating construction of the priority areas for industrialization, of the national priority roads that will aid industrialization. The Council also agreed to start implementation of an apprenticeship program to bridge the gap between industrial skills requirements and the supply from educational institutions. And finally, the Council also agreed to accelerate the implementation of the Nigeria Trade Remedy, economic safeguard and anti-dumping mechanisms. That's in the area of trade.
On the recent report of the World Bank Ease of Doing Business, which saw Nigeria move 24 places from 169 to 145, the minister reiterated government's commitment to make the country one of the easiest places to do business.
As you already know, we were also featured as one of the top 10 economies showing the most notable improvement in the last 1 year. And this improvement came from the reforms that were implemented in the following areas: starting a business, registering property, getting credit, dealing with construction permits, and paying taxes. I want to reiterate that we are not resting on our laurels. In fact, this gives us the impetus we need to work even harder, because we are encouraged that our work is being noticed, not just by Nigerians, but by the world at large. In fact, as I'm speaking to you now, there is a stakeholder engagement going on, just rolling up our sleeves and working on the next set of improvements already. We strongly believe these reforms are good for the country and will enable a better business environment for our people and for our investors. Let me say it again, that our vision for Nigeria is to make it one of the most attractive and easiest places to do business in the world. And we are committed to this vision. It is a marathon. It's not a 100-meter dash, but we are committed to the vision.
Meanwhile, all is now set for the hosting of the D8 ministerial meeting, which will focus on industrial cooperation from 14th to 16th November in Abuja. The objectives of the group is to promote socio-economic development of member countries. 6 priority sectors have been identified in the industrial and economic cooperation between member states, namely trade, agriculture and food security, industrial cooperation and SME, transportation, energy and minerals, and tourism. The D8 countries are Nigeria, Bangladesh, Egypt, Indonesia, Iran, Malaysia, Pakistan, and Turkey. Osam Raffle, Ben Television.
Following the death of 26 teenage Nigerian girls who died in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Italy last Sunday, Nigerian Senate has blamed the federal government for the harsh economic situation in the country, which they said caused the tragedy. The upper chamber also mandated its Committee on Diaspora, Foreign Affairs and Special Duty to investigate the circumstances leading to the murder of the 26 young Nigerian girls. This was sequel to a motion sponsored by Senator Rose Oko from Cross River North, who brought the attention of the Senate to the reported gruesome story of the dead body of 26 Nigerian girls of ages between 14 to 18. She called on the Senate to take proactive measure and go beyond mere feeling of horror to taking urgent steps to addressing the root causes of the mass exodus of Nigerians to Europe.
The Senate is worried that this mass exodus of our children from the relative safety and security of home to the often cold hands of death have arisen and are increasing as a result of the economic hardships at home, including the unemployment situation in Nigeria. The Senate strongly believes that it is time to go beyond the mere expression of horror to taking proactive, urgent, and emergency measures to address the root causes of the exodus, including massive enlightenment on the dangers that it portends. The Senate believes that an interagency and interstate cooperation and collaboration is urgently needed by government to address this problem. The Senate accordingly resolves to 1. Condemn in the strongest terms the murder of 26 young Nigerian girls in the Mediterranean Sea en route Italy.
In his contribution, Senator Shehu Sani, Cardinal Central, who also condemned in strong terms the death of the teenage Nigerian, called on the government to provide a conducive environment for development of youths in the country.
It's unfortunate that African nations, including Nigeria, continuously ignore this tragedy that is before us. 26 lives lost in an attempt to cross to Europe is one tragedy too many. This motion highlights the problem and calls for action. An action that will stop our young men and women moving into the hands of drug traffickers, human traffickers, and terrorists. It is high time that the relevant agencies of government do everything possible to stem the tide. When African dies on the Mediterranean, it is the soul of our continent, it is our dignity, it is our place in the Committee of Nations that is questioned. We cannot pretend that there is no problem.
Deputy Senate President Ike Madu, who presided over the plenary, also condemned the tragedy and advised government at both federal and state level to tackle the rising rate of unemployment in the country and provide basic needs.
Affairs and special duties to investigate unfortunate incident and report back to the Senate within 4 weeks. Those in support of this prayer say aye. Those against saying nay, the ayes have it.
And a Libyan national have been reported arrested by the Italian authority in connection with the incident. Moyo Bamdili reporting.
Lovely place, right?
Yes.
What's wrong? You don't look happy.
Take a look around. Why can't my hotel be like this?
I knew something was wrong, but I've got solution.
Solution? What?
Nanet.
Nanet?
Nanet offers you design solutions, building plans and construction, furnishing and equipping, financing, management, audit services, and many more services for a better hospitality business. Nanet, service with a smile.
Nigeria is said to have lost an estimated sum of 6 trillion naira within 5 years through various fire disasters across the country. Minister of Interior Abdulrahman Dambazao made this disclosure at the International Fire Conference and Exhibition organized by the Senate and House of Representatives Joint Committee on Interior in Abuja. The minister said that the fire outbreak were preventable given the necessary equipment and manpower, adding that with the support of the legislature and backing from the presidency, the Federal Fire Service will be one of the best in the world within the next few years.
I think in Lagos State alone, a huge amount of money, say 54 billion, was lost to fire disasters. You are not talking of Kano, you are not talking of KB, all over the country. These are incidents that are preventable, and you can only prevent these incidents if you have the equipment, you have the training, and you have the necessary resources to deal with the situation. And like I said, we've just started. We do hope that if this situation continues, the support we're getting from the legislature and the backing we're getting of Mr. President, I'm sure if we continue the next 5 years, the Federal Fire Service will be one of the best in the world.
In his opening address, Chairman of the Senate Committee on Interior, Senator Andy Oba, noted that less than 2% of Nigeria's population was fire safety illiterate, called for media partnership on creating awareness on the issue of fire disaster. Senator Uba asked the federal government to reposition the fire service delivery to make it modern and efficient.
Statistics from the Lagos State Fire and Safety Service show that inhabitants of the state lost 54 billion naira worth of property to fire in 3 years between 2012 and 2015. Statistics also show that 185 lives were lost in 470 fire accidents in the same period under review, with the oil and gas sector recording the highest number of incidents. As recent studies have shown that less than 2% of the Nigerian population is fire safety literate or fire safety conscious. We in the National Assembly intend to listen intently to you, the experts, and all critical stakeholders in the sector to try to learn from your experience, taking your preferred solutions and try to adopt some.
However, the executive arm of government and the National Assembly have resolved to strengthen Nigerian fire service to avert fire tragedy and its attendant loss. Muiwa Bamdili reporting.
As the People's Democratic Party (PDP) prepared for its elective national convention slated to hold 9 December this year, the former national deputy chairman of the party, Dr. Cairo Jibo, has alleged fears that the convention will not be able to produce a credible chairman that can stand the ruling party. Dr. Cairo, who was also the second in command to Alhaji Ahmadu Sharif, who lost to Ahmed Makarfi executive at the Supreme Court after a long leadership tussle, in an exclusive interview with Ben TV, said the forthcoming convention might be the last PDP will conduct as a party.
Nigerians then that if anything takes away the chairmanship of Ali Modu Sharif, that the PDP will go bust. Mark my word, the 9th of December convention of the PDP is going to be a funeral service of that party, because there is nobody amongst the persons that wants to be the chairman of the PDP who can stand and defend the party. They don't have the character. Ali Modu Sharif is the only person for now that would have been able to steer the PDP out of trouble.
Dr. Cairo, who recently defected to the All Progressive Party, commended President Muhammadu Buhari for its effort in the fight against corruption, noting that the foundation of the resolution of the country can be felt if corruption is tackled.
And that is where I come to play. That is where I am a soldier of truth. When I believe in something, there's no half measure. I go for it. I tell you what I want to do. And watch. I have looked at the APC. I have looked at Buhari. And I know that the foundation for the resurrection of Nigeria will only be strong and firm if corruption is tackled. If corruption is not tackled, forget it, you young people. There's no hope for you. Me and my mom already on my way out. I'm close to 60. And I have nothing to lose. I can always tell you the truth now. If I can't tell you the truth, there's no way I can tell you the truth anymore. I should just forget it. But I'm speaking for you young ones, so that you can have a tomorrow. So that the yesterday I had, you people can have it.
He also spoke on the assassination attempt to his life, saying it will not hinder him from saying the truth.
You have the, please bring us the photograph. Let me tell you, I was traveling from Asaba to Agbo in the night. The lock, I had a very lengthy meeting, so I was sleeping. And my head was down. That was how assassin came and blew off the roof of my car. Of course, because all of them are from Agbo, because we saw some of them. So we went to the police. We know who they work for. And the matter has been with the police. So this matter, what is my problem with the system in Delta State? That I must always speak the truth. Because this is it. This is the vehicle. This is it.
In Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.